Hi, this is Paul from globaltradingsoftware.com, and this is a futures stroke forex trading tutorial. I'm using 6E, the euro future, so the same would be for euro US dollars. I'm using the cradle to grave bundle, which is the xbratalgo and the manager. Also an additional indicator, which is a go no go gauge, which is our bias depth heat map, which you can see at the bottom of the screen there. I'm going to be scalping with the 3 minute here, but I wanted to go back up to the 15 minute just to remind our users framing the charts is very, very important. Just disregard signals there for now. What we're interested in is framing the chart with support and resistance zones, so where decisions are made in the past could be made in the future. So big zone at the top here, we can see we've got this top of the pivot where my cursor is right here, and then the bottom of the zone is this big resistance here. So that's a zoney price, so we don't want to be going long or short into there. The same with this zone here, the same with this zone, and if we come a little bit here, we can see real strong support into this zone. Also acts as resistance at this point here and here. Very strong zone. And then down here we've got a massive rejection at the bottom of that zone here. If I just adjust that slightly, okay, and then we also test it at this point here as well. Same with this zone, we've got some big rejections and some tests here. Okay, so that's the 15 minutes. So what we do is we always look to go up to that 15-minute time frame. If we're trading off the 3 minute, the 5 minute, the 1 minute, we need to frame our charts with that in mind. So let's now go to the 3 minute, and then we'll discuss some of the trades, why we should and should not have traded them. So quite simple. So now obviously we've gone to that 3 minute time frame, and those support and resistance zones, those danger zones if you like, are on our chart, but this time on the 3 minutes. So we're going to talk about some of the things where we are going to be looking at. So here, xbratalgo, 4-5 star buy into resistance. We are not going to take that long. Also, if we just zoom in a little bit here, we can see on the bias depth heat map, on the signal candle for the 5 star down here, we are not all green, so we've not all got that bullish bias going off there. We then come down, we pull back up, we've got a 6 star sell at this point. Now our bias depth heat map is all red at this point, but we've got to think about our strategy here, our entry strategy. This is our signal candle here. So normally we would go one tick below at this point there. Let's just change that to green. And we would look for just the previous pivot just there for a stop loss. Now, if we use our fib extension at this point here, just to work out our risk to reward, we're only 1-to-1 into that support zone. So we've not got enough fresh air. We need a minimum of 1 to 1.6 risk to reward for fresh air, for that to get some momentum. So that stops us taking the trade. Remember, as traders, we've got to find reasons not to trade, and that is a reason. There's not enough fresh air for this signal to get down and start getting some momentum. Let's move along. Again, we get a 6 star sell. This signal candle here, the signal candle actually appears within this support zone, then we've got another one directly underneath it. We ignore it. Now we get a 6 star buy signal here. Let's look left. This recent pivot, so this is a signal candle. You should go one tick above. For me, I think I always look for that recent pivot. That's where my entry is going to be. My stop probably just going to be that's the signal candle there, probably just below that support and resistance zone, to be honest. Big stop and resistance, but risk to reward 1 to 2 to the next support and resistance zone. So as you can see, this really tells you that no matter what type of trading indicator you're going to use, you're going to look for that fresh air. So framing your charts is really critical. to make sure the risk to reward is good. You've got fresh air to the next danger zone for that to happen. Now, let's talk about this trade a little bit here. We'll just get rid of that a minute. We know we've got a 1 to 2, so we've got enough fresh air. Entry is going to be above this point here. So very simple, we've got a 6-star buy signal here. We're 5 out of 6 on the bias depth heat map on the scalping setting there, all green, which is good for me. We have an entry, sensible conservative entry above here. We go. Now we're looking for a way to manage this, and this is the manager. So the cradle bit of this cradle to grave bundle is the signal. Okay, we get the signal from the xbratalgo. Now to manage this, this is this ribbon here. This is set to day trading aggressive. Okay, so when that turns to red, or when you get into here, we can we can take that profit. One of the things that we look for here, I'm going to zoom in quite a bit, is the dots up above and below. So I'm going to talk about the behavior. So the manager looks at the behavior and gives you indications whether to get in or out. So we do get that initial move up. We get a couple of high, this dots up above here is higher than average volume, but they're indecision dojis. Then we get higher than average volume green candles. They're up candles, and each candle, if it's green, has higher volume than the previous candles. That's good. We get low volume rejections, get high volume moves up again, then we're going sideways with lower than average volume, these blue dots. Then we get another surge. Then we go sideways, slight pullback, lower than average volume. Don't panic at this stage. Going through all the way up into this resistance zone. Now this is crucial. We get higher than average volume rejection of these highs on this candle here. Okay, so that when this candle closes, 3-minute candles, you can see that's a 618-ish retracement from those highs there on higher than average volume. That's a rejection. We get a lower than average volume indecision doji, which is normal. Then we get higher than average volume indecision doji as well. This is telling you this resistance is too much. The volume's coming in to push this down. Get out. So that's your aggressive exit, and then you see the ribbon here changes red at this point here, so you could use that as your conservative exit to get out. So again, cradle to grave, we get the signal. One of the things we must do as traders is not blindly follow signals. We need to ensure we've got enough fresh air to that support and resistance zone. We have. It is the first instance today where we've got that. We've looked at other instances where we're going short into support, long into resistance. We don't trade them. Now when we get the signal to go long, we've got a lot of fresh air, we go long with sensible entry, good risk to reward, and then we manage the trade with the manager here. Also, don't forget the bias depth heat map is very critical. So where are we right now? We've got a 6-star sell. Let's just move that along a bit. So now we've got this 6-star sell. We've got the entry, remember, is 1 tick below the signal candle, which it hasn't breached yet, by the way. Now we've got to look for stop. Recent pivot. Let's look at that risk to reward again using the fib extension. 3, we've got 1, 2 there. There's the stop. There's the entry. We're only 1 to 1. We don't take the trade. We've got to be patient. We've got to look for reasons not to take the trade. If we can't find any reasons to take the trade, it's just one of those things. And we, in this case, they've got to be patient and wait for that stars to be aligned. Got that fresh air, got that signal, go long. We've got a short signal here, but the risk to reward isn't good. So that's that last check in the box that isn't there. And we also look here, look at the bias depth heat map. We're only 4 out of 6 here. And then we're going green and yellow. Yellow is neutral, green is bullish, red is bearish. So we haven't got a great deal of risk to reward right now. So we wouldn't take that trade. We've got to be prepared to walk away from that. This one, however, was the trade. And we then just have to be patient and wait for the right signal. And just keep our charts framed and just keep moving along and being patient, rejecting 80% of the trades, but then taking that 20% that have everything going for them. Hopefully that helps. Cradle to grave. Cradle being that xbratalgo signal, which for a 6-star is 12 points of control, so very, very stringent rules for those signals. But also then the grave part is managing it to maximize those profits with the manager. Hopefully that helps. Speak to you all really soon.